welcome to PigTube. I am Ariana, and this right here is my new friend Chucky. Chucky is an 8-week-old mini Juliana, and he's only been here not even 24 hours. So no real guarantees for what he may act like as I'm teaching today. Or talking, I should say. I really should start by mentioning that I am not a pig expert. I am not a mini pig expert. I am just I'm a pig fanatic who has done lots of research. I have friends with pigs. I've talked to veterinarians. I've talked to breeders. And I'm also a professional dog trainer, which doesn't really teach you about pigs, but it does teach me a lot about how to find a good breeder and how to find a good temperament and a lot about potty training, manners, all that kind of stuff. So enjoy Chucky as I kind of talk today about how to find a good, reliable mini pig breeder. So there's a lot of different things that make a good breeder, and I think it's really important that people know how to find a good breeder, because with good breeding comes a good temperament, less health issues. And when we're talking about pigs, I wanted mine to be mini, and if you don't do the right research, your mini pig could be a gigantic hog. So let's talk about the good things that you're looking for in a breeder. So when I'm talking, here you go, you get your little pig. When I was looking for my breeder, I wanted someone very knowledgeable in pig breeding and just the animal altogether. I am looking for someone who doesn't mind answering all of my questions, which I know is a lot, but I ask a lot of questions because I care and because I want to be the best pig mom that I can be. So a good breeder is happy to answer your questions. They are maybe even going to give you resources and materials. I know my pig breeder gave me an amazing website that she made that was so elaborate with tons of detail. And I would even say I'm looking for a breeder who's willing to answer my questions even after I've got the pig. I don't want a breeder that's just going to kind of cut me off after I have the pig. So if you find them getting irritated with your questions, that's not really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a breeder who wants their pigs to go to a good home. So that's the first thing I'm looking for. The second thing I'm looking for is I want to have, this may not be possible because I know pig breeders are not necessarily around every corner, but I think it's pretty important that you see the property, that you go to the breeder and you see what living conditions are they in. Is it like they're living in a room full of pee and poop and there's poop in their food bowl and pee all over their water bowl? Or is it more of like a homey situation where they've got a litter box and blankets and toys and something that feels more like a home? I'm not looking for, and for me, I'm not looking for my pig who's going to be in my house. I'm not looking for them to be in a place full of bugs and flies, and I want them to be well socialized. Are they with other piggies? Are they by themselves? Are they with people? Have they ever seen a person? These are all different things that I'm looking for when I go to the property. The other really big benefit, the other benefit of going to the property is that you can hopefully meet the parents. If you're at the property, I would be meeting the parents. When you meet the parents, you can see the temperament, the personality. You can see if they have any less desirable traits, like maybe they're bossy or maybe they're kind of aggressive, skittish. But I think also you can see if they're healthy, you can see how big they are. So when it comes to what I was looking for, I have 5 dogs and a cat, so I didn't really want a 500-pound pig. So I was very specific with my breeder that this is the size I'm looking for, this is the height, this is the weight. And just so you know, with adult pigs, they do not fully max out growing until they are 3 to 5 years old. So if they're less than that, there is a great chance that they're not maxed out and they're still growing, but there's a secret in how you can tell. if you look at the bottom, you might not be able to see it right now, but if you were to look at Chucky's tail does not have any hair on the end of it. However, an adult pig would. An adult pig that's full grown, they would have a couple inches of hair at the end of their tail. So that's a really good way to gauge how adult the mom and dad are. And I think if you can't go to the breeder by yourself because they're in a different state, or maybe they're far enough away that you need a transportation service and you can't go there yourself, then I would say the bare minimum of what I would do is probably at least FaceTime. With FaceTime, I know it's not the same and you're not really meeting the parents and all that, but you can still see the living conditions. And I've seen many breeders that through a gate kind of like this, they'll put a ruler and then the mom and dad will be on the other side so you can see how tall they are, and it'll give you a good reference of how big the parents are. And I know FaceTime is not ideal, but I think it's better than videos. I know that there are very good breeders, but I know there are some sneaky ones too, just like dogs. So I'm not looking for the video of when they first built the place 2 years ago and everything is spotless. I'm usually looking for something that's, I want to know what it looks like all the time. So that is something that will help you out a little bit. And the last thing I really want to say with what I'm looking for out of a breeder is I'm looking for good reviews. I'm looking for referrals or references. So you could probably get reviews on Facebook or on Google. I know my breeder, I got really lucky with her, but I did a lot of research. She had a Facebook page just for people that have bought pigs from her. So it was a really nice community of people posting their pigs and saying basically what their experience has been like. And it gave me a good eye on how people like her pigs. And then I would also say you can get really good reviews and references from veterinarians. So you could always call the breeder and ask them, what veterinarians do you use? Get the phone number, and from there you can talk to the vet directly and say, health-wise, temperament-wise, what do you like and not like about this breeder and their pigs? So I think that's a really, really good way to see what other people's experiences are and what your experience could be like. I think for now, those are some of the big good things I want to see. I think it's important to also cover the things I don't want to see. And to me, there's a few red flags that really stand out. And if you go to the property, which hopefully you can, and if not, you can at least get that FaceTime call. What I'm looking for is healthy, happy pigs. So you got to get a little bit educated on what does an unhealthy pig look like. I'm not looking for little pigs or big pigs that have discharge under their eyes. I'm not looking for ones that are skinny or malnourished. I'm not looking for ones with overly dry skin. I want them to look like they are cared for as pets, because my little pig obviously is my pet and they're in the house. So I want healthy, well-maintained pigs. I think along that route, you also want to talk about temperament. Something that you need to know about pigs. They are animals of prey. For example, dogs are predators. So when you are working with an animal that's prey, you have to understand that they're skittish. Their natural temperament is to be skittish and a little bit fearful. So it might be a fine line for you to walk into a breeder and see that all of these pigs are kind of skittish, and when you go to pet them, they run away. But if you are unsure, the best way to become sure is to ask questions. How often are they socialized? When do you socialize them? How do you socialize them? Are you the only person that they see? Have they ever seen a dog? Have they ever seen a cat or children? But again, I'm even this little boy. I mean, he looks really sweet right now and he looks like he's very bonded to me, but we have had a good 23 hours of him also being kind of scared of me. So I would just say don't be completely turned off if they're skittish, but they should have, I want to see tails wagging and healthy. That's the big thing to me. And I think as far as it goes with other big red flags, especially if you're talking about medical stuff, there are things that are very similar with mini pigs and dogs, and there are things that are very different. So something very similar with pigs and dogs is that they should be vaccinated, they should be dewormed, all that good stuff. Something that's very different with pigs and dogs is that dogs can get spayed and neutered a little bit later in life, where a mini pig, at least, I don't know about hogs, but I know about mini pigs. And mini pigs, they should be, if they're a boy, they really should be neutered. I have heard anywhere as early as 5 weeks to 12 weeks. And with females, I've heard 6 weeks to 16 weeks. It's, I haven't gotten an exact answer, but that seems to be a general range. But either way, they should be spayed and neutered before you get them. I think I've heard of other breeders doing things like they'll cover it to spay and neuter. And as long as they're covering it, that's pretty good. But to me, based on all the research I've done and everything I've heard from veterinarians and breeders, they really should be spayed and neutered before you get them. You want to neuter and spay, and I know people can go back and forth on that with dogs. Just because I work with dogs, I know people can be kind of about it. With pigs, you really want to spay and neuter, and I kind of say the same thing about dogs. But I would say with a boy pig, they grow tusks. So what you have to think of is a pig that's intact is just overwhelmed with hormones. I mean, they're raging with hormones, which makes them very aggressive and destructive. And when they have giant tusks that have to be trimmed, they have to be maintained, with those tusks, they can really hurt you, and they can also really do some damage. So also, just another thing about the tusks is that if they grow in the wrong way, it can become deeply infected and cause lots of pain. So do everybody a favor and get them neutered unless you're planning on using them. But I think the other thing that's pretty big to know about males that are not neutered is that they have a very, very foul odor.
Ew.
So again, lots of hormones. Get them neutered before you get them, ideally. Females, it's not as bad. They don't get tusks. It's not as serious with them. However, they can still have bad behaviors and develop a bad attitude if they are not spayed. So make sure you do that with both. And if the breeder doesn't do that, the whole big thing here, that's a red flag. So make sure that they are spayed and neutered. If you have a breeder who is trying to dish you off a pig that seems less than 8 weeks, similar to puppies, you can get them a little younger than 8 weeks, but anything younger than 8 weeks, I'm usually going, ooh, that's young. And I think if you put it into perspective with how much time they spend with their mom, pigs really should be with their mom for at least 4 to 6 weeks. So anything before, I want them weaned for a little while before I get my pig. I don't want them to be freshly weaned as, yesterday, a couple days ago, because then they're still adjusting. But I think the big thing with a pig that's different than a dog, pigs at 8 weeks old, you can kind of gauge how big they're going to be when they're 8 weeks old. So little boy Chucky over here, 8 weeks and roughly 5 or 6 pounds. An 8-week-old pig that is bigger than 5 to 8 pounds, I would say, roughly, those pigs have potential to be much bigger. So by waiting to get your pig at 8 weeks, you're really going to be able to tell a lot by its size. And also with an 8-week-old pig, I don't know that you'll get a good look here, but in pictures, you'll see that his ears are not very big. They're actually adorably tiny. Aww. If you look at your 8-week-old pig and it's got big old ears, big ears typically means big pig. So, or it could mean hog, and hog is different than mini pig by a lot. So I would say if they're trying to hand it to you younger than 8 weeks, I would think twice. Or I would at least postpone until I thought, 8 weeks. But if you're not sure about it, talk to your vet, and I'm sure they'll give you a good suggestion too. And I think the last thing to me that was a really big deal with breeders that I did not like, okay, let me think of how to word this. you're looking for a breeder who's here because they love the animal. They're not just in it for the money. If they love pigs, they're going to care. They're going to answer your questions. They're going to keep it in a clean, healthy environment. They're going to maintain all of the medical stuff, and they're going to care for the pigs a lot more. So what I'm looking for, I'm going to go into this saying that nobody wants to get rid of their pig, and no one thinks they're going to get rid of their pig. But I do think it's important to ask, if something goes wrong, are you willing to take him back? I don't ask this question because I'm going to give Chucky back. You're going to have to rip my cold dead hands off of him if you're going to get him from me. However, I do think it's kind of a good question to see how much the breeder cares. Because if they go, nope, final sale, find it, if you don't want it, find a home for it, that to me is kind of a red flag, because that sounds like someone who doesn't really care. On the other hand, a good breeder will go, I've actually heard of breeders that will make people sign something that says, if it doesn't work out, you will bring them back to me and the breeder will find them a home. I love that. That is someone who cares. That is someone who does not want this animal to be neglected or pushed off into a bad situation. So I think for now that kind of covers some good, some bad, what you're looking for, what you're trying to avoid. But I do think a lot of how you figure these things out is by asking questions. I am the girl in school that asks way too many questions and makes the class run a little bit late. I don't like that I'm this way, but this is who I am. So I will say I ask questions because I care. So let's start with questions that you want to ask about the parents. So obviously, to me, the big question with anyone getting a pig is that you need to know how big the parents are. You need to know how big your pig is going to be. You need to be prepared. So I think with pigs, the big thing that you want to know is that you're not just asking the weight. You want to ask the height as well, because that will tell you how tall. And I think that kind of puts it into perspective, because I've seen some mini pigs that are below the knee but still over 100 pounds. So I think you want to know how big the parents are, how tall, how thick, or with weight. I think that's really important. And I think another big thing about the parents is you want to ask about the personality. I'm asking, what are the good traits of mom and dad? What are the bad traits of mom and dad? What are the personality quirks that kind of make you nuts about them? That way you can see, okay, well, genetically mine might end up with some of these quirky traits. But I think, every pig is different, but it just kind of gives you a warning or a heads up of what might be coming. And I think too, another obviously important one is health. Are you vaccinating the parents? Are they dewormed? I think especially the mom, because you don't want a bunch of babies with worms. And I think that will kind of give you a good feel for what the parents are like. Again, I think the big thing here is temperament and health. As far as it goes with the babies, same thing as puppies. I want to know, are they vaccinated? Are they dewormed? Will they be spayed? Will they be neutered? And I think something a little bit different about pigs is that they have, a lot of people don't know this, but they actually go through 4 sets of teeth in a 4-year period. So they have these 8 little teeth that they're born with called needle teeth. So needle teeth are basically these 8 pointy, sharp little teeth that they have. And I have heard of many people having the breeders clip the needle teeth, or, realistically, what my breeder told me and what I've read everywhere else, you don't need to clip the needle teeth. Again, I am not an expert, but I'm sure there's some sort of scenario that you need to clip those teeth. But I think on average, what I've been taught just over my research is basically they will fall out by 6 months, and it sounds like they're going to kind of go through a couple rounds of teeth until they're 4 years old. If you are thinking that maybe your pig needs needs the needle teeth trimmed, clipped, or you think that there's a concern or a question, always go to a veterinarian. The way I look at things is that breeders are good at breeding, vets are good at medicine, trainers are good at training, groomers are good at grooming. So if there's like a medical procedure, you want to learn how to clip needle teeth, just go to a veterinarian. They are the knowledge source there. I'm sure all of us know a little bit something about the other areas, but they are your main source for needle teeth. So the other big things I'm asking about the babies are training, socialization, desensitization. So as far as it goes with socialization, we'll start there. I think socializing is so important because, like I said, they're very fearful and very skittish. And it can be hard just because, listen, we have fun. And the way that we were playing earlier today was kind of part of him running from me. And it was fun and adorable and kind of felt like I was playing with a little kid. But I think, I gotta be honest with you, I don't really know what would be alarming. I know I've read that when their tail wags, it means that they're typically happy. So when we were playing and he was running, his tail was wagging. I would imagine it would be much different if they're scared, and I would imagine it would be very high-pitched, loud squealing and shaking and not looking like they're having fun. So I think that will maybe help give you some idea, but that's where I would ask. Again, I know I said this earlier, but how are you socializing them? Who are you doing it with? And that way you can kind of, understand the temperament or the socialization of the babies. I also think with training, I'm talking about potty training. Do they have some sort of litter box, or what is their training like that is encouraging them to go to the bathroom in a different area than where they live and where they sleep? Again, if they're just peeing and pooping everywhere, when you bring them into your home, they're not going to be acclimated and they're just going to pee and poop everywhere, and potty training might be a little bit harder. I think the other things with training is that training is pretty similar to, excuse me, desensitizing. So similar with dogs, similar with horses, you have to desensitize them to things that might spook them. So to dogs, clipping their nails, cleaning their ears, blow dryers. For pigs, it's a little bit different. So for a pig, one of the big things that really freaks them out as babies that you may have heard earlier is that when you pick them up, they scream bloody murder. I mean, the squealing is so loud that you're going to question your hearing ability when you put them down. And when you pick them up, you're also going to be a little bit nervous that your neighbors might call the cops because that was the loudest noise anyone has ever heard in this quiet suburb. So, by the way, make sure you're allowed to have a pig. I am. But the squealing is loud. So when you pick them up, it is loud, 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 and they panic and freak out and pee and poop sometimes. So that's one question I'm going to ask is, have you done any sort of practice holding them? If the answer is no, I'm not going to find a different breeder, but I'm just going to know, okay, when I get them, I'm going to have to practice with that. And I don't mind it, honestly. I do it with Chucky, and he's loud, but every time I do it, it gets better, and it's just a fear response. I mean, like I said, they're prey animals, so it doesn't really bother me, and I know it's going to get better. I look at it like an investment. So that way, I can pick him up later, and he won't scream bloody murder forever. And I think the other desensitization thing that is important is putting harnesses on them. Obviously, you're not putting a collar on this thick neck. So with a harness, they need to wear that for walks and just going out, and holy cow, they're fast. So you're going to need a way to put a leash on them. So I think with harness training, yet again, I'm not going to find a different breeder if they don't do it. I just think it's kind of like the cherry on top of them making my life a little bit easier. It's almost like the dog breeders that do crate training before you get them. However, not going to make or break it. I just know, okay, I'm going to have to spend a little bit more time doing a harness, which is going to be coming up here pretty soon. And as far as it goes with just basic manners and bath time can be kind of stressful for them. Have they been in a bath? Have they just been hosed off? Have they ever been cleaned? So I know when I got this little boy, I had to give him a bath, and it was loud and kind of stressful, but we got through it, and I will have a video on that in the future. But I would say that kind of runs me through all of the questions of what I'd ask about the parents, what I'd ask about the babies. And I think, there's always more, but this is the best I can do right now. I would say the general questions that I, just kind of easy questions that most breeders probably get anyway would be, let's scoot back a little bit, hopefully you can see him. Hi friend. One big question is if your vet is, or if your breeder is nearby, get vet recommendations. Talk to the breeder and just ask what recommendations do you have for a good pig vet. I know in some areas it can be really hard to find a good vet for a pig. So I would definitely ask them. You can also ask them for suggestions with what type of food, what type of litter, and what type of harness or what size harness. Again, use their knowledge as a resource. And if you are cautious about getting a pig, if you are, going back and forth and you don't really know if it's for you, you don't know what to expect, I always recommend asking the breeder the cons. What cons should I prepare for? I think a lot of breeders are happy to sell you their pig and tell you all the great things about pigs, but you kind of want to ask the cons. And or what challenges are there going to be? How is this pig going to be difficult for me? And I could always answer those. And I will say they're so much like kids, but it's so much like dogs too. I think the mistake that people make is they think that pigs are so much smarter than dogs, that they are going to be so much easier. And smarter is not easier. I think in some areas it is, but some areas it's very sneaky and mischievous. But I think lastly, the only other thing I know I already mentioned is ask your breeder for reviews and references. So that way you can confirm what other people's experiences have been like, and make sure that you get yourself a nice little pig just like Chucky over here. Aww. Well, I think that's all I have for you today on how to find a good, reputable breeder. I hope this was helpful. If there's anything I missed, or if there's any other things that you're looking to learn or you want to see in Chucky's life or just pig content, go ahead and put it in the comments, because I would love to answer the questions that I can. And if you have any fun ideas that you'd like to see us do, I would love to get involved in that. But yeah, please like, subscribe, comment below, and I'll see you in the next Pig Tube video.